Greetings, Nigerians. Welcome to Boss Capital TV from wherever you're watching from across the world. My name is Banwola Gokun, and today we'll be talking about the most provocative, most viral, and intense topic in the last 1 week. That is President Tinubu's pardon to 175 hardened criminals. A lot of people, it has attracted criticism, debates, and condemnation from a lot of quarters, politicians, writers, engineers, whoever, a lot of people, activists, even international pundits and citizens generally. You know, one would argue why are a lot of cocaine traffickers getting pardoned? Why are a lot of drug dealers and fraudsters and kidnappers and even murderers getting pardoned? Why we have NSAS detainees like Dari Williams and Rashid Wasiu, who was arrested when he was 19 years old in 2020, and he was charged for unlawful possession of firearm, and he has not touched a gun before in his life. I have met him, and the boy has not been in court today. He's now like 24 years old in prison. He was arrested post NSAS massacre in October 2020. This young man was only a victim of one of the mass raid that the police embarked on after the massacre. So, and he was taken to Kwanti after a lot of torture. He was attached to two people he never met in his life and charged. Those two people have been released since 2020. He's still languishing in Kirikiri Medium Prison. Same applies for Dari Williams. He didn't get a pardon. We are shocked that NSAS detainees are not getting pardon, but hardened criminals, murderers, and all sort of people, subsidy bribe takers, are getting pardon. And one would even wonder, there is so much clamor for release and pardon for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is the leader of the Biafran agitation. He has not been convicted. Against many court orders, the government is still holding on to him. He's terribly sick, and his release will inspire or trigger a lot of peace in Southeast. Because many people that are agitated will just have cause to rejoice and rethink. But the president have chosen to just grant pardon to convicted hardened criminals, and even pre-amalgamation conviction were pardoned. That's so funny. So a lot of people have argued that the pardon for a lot of cocaine traffickers and drug pushers further lends credence to the public record that President Tinubu was convicted of cocaine dealing in Chicago, and he took a plea bargain to forfeit over $500,000 in the 90s, which was a lot of money back then, to avoid going to prison, because his favorite people on this list of 175 pardons were for drug dealers and fraudsters and hardened criminals. So it has triggered a lot of debate, criticism from politicians, international pundits, activists, and writers. At the time, I started doubting if it is true the president granted pardon to over 70 drug dealers, until I started doing my little research and started perusing the publications by the APC publicist. I was checking it, and to my amazement, majority of people on the list were all drug dealers, and a good percentage were. Let me even read out the percentage of this particular pardon list. 29.2% were drug dealers, hardened criminals, cocaine traffickers, and other sort of drugs, tramadol and what have you. And one would say that will inspire a lot of people to say, do drugs, the president might pardon you. And unlawful mining took 24%. Unlawful mining are people that are stealing gold, diamond, sapphire, onyx, iron ore, all the resources, expensive resources that we have, which is economic sabotage, which can be on the same level with terrorism when people decide to steal billions, trillions of resources. And even a senator vowed to stand for them, to become their mentor and provide rehabilitation. The senator said he's going to be their mentor, provide rehabilitation for those miners, So one would think, oh, is there a connection somewhere where people paid for this, or are these the people behind the mining? It leaves so much to the mind. But the saddest part is that there is no reaction from the president at all, and you can tell that to hell with the criticism and anger and public outcry. And so far, in homicide, there's murders, people that killed people. A lot of them were pardoned, and that took about 13.5%. People who don't buy person were pardoned. And firearms, people that were caught with firearms, possession of firearms, took 2.3%. Hijacking took 5.8%. Robbery, armed robber, omila, people wey carry gun go rob people, they took about 2.3% of the 175 criminals that were convicted by President Tinubu. Human trafficking, 1.8%. Kidnappers, 1.8% too. 1.8% of the 175 hardened criminals that were pardoned by President Tinubu were kidnappers. Then 5.8% others. It's crazy. It's crazy, and if you don't know, you would have been shocked that, oh, this is propaganda, this can be true. That means the president does not care about our reaction. A lot of people, and I agree, that this will further embolden criminality. This will discourage the agencies that arrested, prosecuted, and ensure that these people were jailed. A lot of people were jailed for this, and a lot of people had to survive gunshots. A lot of people had to, they almost died in operation. So people even died in operation while trying to apprehend these drug dealers and illegal miners. So what would the family of these officers that sacrificed their lives and time to arrest criminals, and at the end of the day they get pardoned? Let me read some of the list for you. Number one on the list is Kelvin Christopher Smith, 42 years old, was sentenced to 4 years for importing cocaine in 2023. He has been pardoned by President Tinubu. Azubike Jeremiah Emeka, 31 years old, sentenced in 2021 to 5 years imprisonment or 3 million fine for importing cocaine. Cocaine importer was pardoned. Akinrimade Akinwanda Debi, 47-year-old man, sentenced in 2023 to 3 years imprisonment for dealing tramadol, dangerous tramadol. So what are you telling NDLA officers? What are you telling our youths? That you can get pardoned while activists, agitators, journalists, people that did not commit violent crimes, people that didn't even commit crime at all, like Rashid Wasiu, as mentioned earlier, or Dare Williams, are still languishing in medium prison because of NSAS protests, So, Ade Sonya Olufemi Paul, 61 years old, sentenced to 14 years for theft. He served 8 years already. He was pardoned. Then human trafficker was also pardoned. He has spent 6 years in prison. He was sentenced in 2019 for human trafficking. His name is Ife Yusuf. He's now 37 years old. Imagine human trafficker. Like, who wrote the letter to president that one human trafficker should be pardoned, and the president be like, oh, human trafficker, let's pardon him. Imagine, there's no conscience in this clemency so far. It's so shocking, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Daniel Bodunwa, 43 years old, was sentenced in 2018 to 10 years imprisonment for fraudulent intent to forge a land receipt. He has served 6 years in jail. This is the area where a lot of people have lost income, have lost their entire savings to people like this. They'll give them money and they'll never get the land. They'll just forge a fake receipt and give to the person. People have died of heart attack, hypertension because of people like this guy here. Daniel Bodua, 43 years old. A lot of people were pardoned, and it's so shocking. Rabiu Al-Hassan Dawaki, 52 years old, sentenced in 2020 to 7 years for criminal breach of trust. This one is so funny, man, and it's so sad at the same time. Iru Abdullahi, 46 years old, sentenced in 2016 to 21 years for possession of 3 pistols. 3 pistols, and he has spent 10 years in jail. Baba Tinubu, pardon him. Emmanuel Eze, 49 years old, sentenced in 2002, in 2022 rather, to 5 years for heroin. Oh Lord, the president must have some affection for drug dealers. It seems so. A lot of people here, a lot of people. Sahad Ahmed Madaki, aged 72. Imagine 72 years old, my way they commit 419. Sentenced in 2020 for 419 offense. He had just served 4 years in Kaduna prison. Old 419 was pardoned. Damn. If you can't repent at 72, when is the clown going to repent? Somebody was sentenced here, Emmanuel Yusuf, 34 years old, in 2022, sentenced to 4 years for possession of 2 kilograms of tramadol. Do you know what 2 kilograms of tramadol is? That's thousands of tramadol. Cocaine and heroin traffickers like Insikat Edet Ari, 37 years old, sentenced in 2023 to 5 years for illegal possession of the aforementioned drugs, pardoned. Babangida Saliu, age 35, sentenced in 2024, just last year, to 3 years imprisonment for unlawful mining. Unlawful mining, you robbed the nation, you robbed us of our natural resources, but he has been pardoned. Another one, unlawful mining, 3 years imprisonment. Abdulaziz Lawal, 18 years old, pardoned. Abdurrahman Babangida, unlawful mining, 20 years old, pardoned. Maharazu Alidu, 22 years old, sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for unlawful mining, pardon. Zahraddin Baliu, and there is a lawmaker that said they will be their mentor. I think he's a northerner too, and these people are northerners. Is he the one that sent them to go and mine? Well, I don't know, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Imam Suleiman, 25 years old, unlawful mining, 3 years, sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. In 2024, pardoned. Another unlawful mining, sentenced in 2024, Abe Amisu, 28 years old, pardoned. Lawani Lorwano, 20 years old, 3 years for unlawful mining, pardoned. A lot of unlawful mining, too long. I don't do number 50 something now, and I still unlawful mining. Yusuf Hassan, Abdullahi Isa, Zayano Bello, Habib Suleiman, Jubrin Sahabi, Shefi Umar. They are mostly in their 20s. Some of them are in their 30s, mid 30s to early 30s. Aruna Abubakar, Rabiu Seidu, Machakuru, all these are all sentenced for unlawful mining just last year, 2024, and they have been pardoned. Abibu Safiu Hussein Sani, 21. I actually don't want to say Sani, but this one is 21 years old, that one is 30 something years old, and this one is not in jail. Comrade Hussein, how far? I hope this is not your cousin. sentenced 3 years in 2024 for unlawful mining. Pardoned. Yusuf Aliyu, Sebiu Aliyu, Yusuf Leyasu, Sebiu Aliyu, Ali Rusani, Shitu Aliyu. Is this a whole family? Sanusi Aminu, Isiaka Adamu, Maman Ibrahim, 50 years old. This is the oldest among the unlawful miners. They all got 3 years. Imagine 3 years. They should be getting more than that. And they were all pardoned. And the lawmaker said he will be their mentor, he will integrate them back to the society. This should not be shocking, but it is shocking because Boko Haram got pardoned, paid, and integrated into Nigerian army. But NSAS protesters, Biafran agitators, and NSAS protesters are languishing in DSS prison. Biafran protesters are languishing in DSS prison. People like Emeka Ngonadi and the rest, while Dare Williams and Rashid Wasiu, they are in medium prison in Kirikiri. No pardon, no charges. Wasiu has never been to prison. He has never been to court this year. They kept him in prison without going to court this year. He's still there. His next court date, let me shock you people, will be in December. And I heard it's December 8th. So which means that boy may not be taken to court on that day, and his case will postpone to January or February 2026. He was arrested when he was 19 in Olaniyi Street, Zumura Street, close to Olaniyi Street, opposite the mosque, Ojo Road. That's Alabasuru. Yes, Rashid Wasiu is in medium prison. He's now 24 years old. He didn't get a pardon at all. Then the president took time to research and go as far back as 1913 to pardon Abat Macaulay for a crime that colonial masters charged him for. For crying out loud, colonization is administrative slavery. It is modernized slavery. So you are bothered about what slave masters called Abat Macaulay. You are bothered about what they charge him for pre-amalgamation, when it was still northern and southern protectorates. And to corroborate their conviction, you are granting a pardon. 1913, they never even joined northern and southern Nigeria together. Who cares about what colonial masters call Africans during the slavery era or colonization era? These are armed robbers, thieves, who came to our lands to steal properties, to steal money, to steal natural resources, to steal human beings. And you care about if they convicted somebody so much that you have to corroborate it with a pardon. Like, who cares? Like, I didn't even know Abat Macaulay was charged with misappropriation of funds. I'm sure many Nigerians like me don't know about, because we're not taught in our history books. We thought it's a great man, nationalist, politician, advocate of the people, activist. And at the end of the day, President Tinubu revealed to us that he was charged for misappropriation of funds in 1913 by some thieves that invaded our land. So he's pardoning Abat Macaulay for the alleged conviction. Imagine what kind of thing is that? Like, colonial masters, are they not thieves? So who cares if they call Abat Macaulay a thief? So he went as far back as that, and Nnamdi Kanu, that people are clamoring for to be released so that there can be peace in the middle, in the southeast of Nigeria, so that Biafran agitators can calm down, use it as a gift for them, releasing Nnamdi Kanu. And they'll be in celebratory mood, and things will be fine. Nobody will have time to shoot and all of that. And also, at least he has not been convicted of any crime. He has also been granted he has been granted release a couple of times according to reports. And what's so difficult about releasing him? If you will know that it will help to bring peace to the southeast. You know, and why are young people, why is a singer and a student of FC Yakoka like Dari Williams still in prison, not getting pardoned, suffering in Kirikiri medium prison, and you know, people are languishing in prison and they are not getting pardoned. Why is Farouk Lawan, who took bribe on camera during the oil subsidy scandal, pardoned? So that, some politicians were pardoned so that their name can be erased from the convicted record, and they can contest again. They keep contest now, say, oh man, they won't go for any position. And that will be it, man. They're so sad. So as I was reading, somebody was sentenced to life imprisonment for cocaine hawking in 2014. He had spent 10 years from that life imprisonment. And his name is Abiodun Elemoro. He is 43 years old and he has been pardoned. Life imprisonment, bam, pardoned. Cocaine, trafficking, connect, okpo. Somebody would know somebody, call somebody, wrote letter to the president saw the name and be like, piang, pardoned. So that's so crazy, man. It's so sad that the president prioritized criminals. He prioritized hardened criminals. He prioritized kidnappers. He prioritized cocaine traffickers, heroin traffickers, tramadol dealers. So what are you telling? There's drug use epidemic. It's a serious pandemic in Nigeria right now. Drug use. And you are granting pardon to all these clowns. People that are never supposed to come out again for the rest of their lives, or they're supposed to serve their time. The president don't care. This man here was sentenced to life in 2022 for armed robbery and possession of illegal firearms. The sentence was reduced to 10 years. And his name is Malam Ibrahim Suleiman. I will not even call him Malam. That's the name recorded, but he's Ibrahim Suleiman. 59 years old, sentenced to life in 2022. Life imprisonment, but they said, I'm going to give him 10 years, Jare. Armed robbery. This man must have killed a lot of people in that armed robbery. But they don't reduce him to 10 years. You see him around your neighborhood next week. Ping. Shetima Maji Afo, 54 years old, sentenced in 2021 to 7 years imprisonment for corrupt practices. The sentence was reduced to 4 years. They say he's sick. A lot of sick young detainees are in Kirikiri medium prison awaiting trial for crimes they didn't commit, for crimes that the prosecutors did not have one evidence, and they are still in Kirikiri. It's crazy, man. It's very, 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 very crazy. Patrick Mensah, this one actually, age 40 years, sentenced in 2015 to 17 years imprisonment for drugs. The sentence they don't reduce down to 11 years. So since 2015, so that means it's coming out like that, because he don't already spent 11 years in prison calendar. That means he's released officially, right? Oh God, I'm tired. Obi Edwin Chukwu, age 43, is sentenced in 2017 to 15 years for drugs. They reduced him to 10 years. That means it's going on. Oh my God. Okay. Lima Pereira Eric Diego. This one is a foreigner, I guess. 27 years old, sentenced in 2017 to 15 years or a fine of 20 million for drugs. It has been reduced to 10 years, 2017 till now. That's 8 years. Prison term, it means say you don't complete, released. Another one, Patrick Echo Iginovia. Maybe an Edo man, I guess. Age 61, sentenced in 2023 to 7 years for trafficking. Trafficking of persons. Reduced to 5 years. Or trafficking in persons. Maybe the order is right. trafficking of persons. This is the Presidential Villa State House reports. Okay, direct. That's my source. He was a trafficker in persons or of persons. It has been reduced to 5 years. Odeyemi Omolara, I think that's a mistake. Odeyemi Omolara, age 65, sentenced in 2017 to 25 years in prison for drug. The sentence was reduced to 12 years based on defendant's remorsefulness and advanced age. He's not remorsed, oh. Somebody wrote letter that he's remorsed. Oh. Is Rashid Wasi not there crying to come out of prison every day? Is Derek Williams not there crying to come out of prison every day? Like, drug. His sentence was reduced to 12 years. 2017 till now, 12 years. You go see him for house. You go call him plug again. Oh yeah, let's go. Pardon day. Now I person the power. Nepal, I don't bring light. Not Gabriel Juliet Chidima. What did Chidima do? 32 years. Sentenced in 2022. 6 years for drug, cocaine. Sentence reduced to 4 years. Bam. So it's 2025, 3 years, 4 years, prison term. You see him, you see her home, she go call her plug again. Diaz Santos Marcia Christiana, 44 years, sentenced in 2017 to 15 years imprisonment for cocaine. Sentence reduced to 10 years from 2017. No, it's coming home. Alaji Nasiru Ogara Adinoyi, he be like Kogi man, 65 years, sentenced in 2023 to 14 years imprisonment for obtaining property by false pretense, reduced to 7 years. Chief Emeka Agbodike, 69 years old, sentenced 23 to 7 years imprisonment, obtaining property by false pretense. These are fraudsters, these are thieves now. Fraudsters, we don't count armed robbers, we don't count drug dealers, especially cocaine traffickers and heroin traffickers. We don't, cocaine importers, human traffickers, yeah, I need water. I didn't keep a cup of water next to me. This one, Muhammadu Bello Musa, 35 years old, sentenced in 2020 to 10 years in Kebbi Custodial Center, prison. There's a given name. For illegal possession of firearms. The sentence was reduced to 7 years. Abubakar Maman, 38 years old, sentenced in 2020 to 10 years imprisonment in Kebbi Custodial Center for possession of firearms. Reduced to 7 years. They reduce them. It be like saying based on your plug, the power of the person will write the letter to president. Now ain't go determine what thing they go give you. Who call who for who. This is crazy, man. Chisom Francis Wisdom, 30 years old, sentenced in 2018 to 20 years in Umaya Custodial Center for kidnapping. They don't reduce him to 12 years old. Now 2018 they sentenced him to 20 years. Now, that 12 years where they don't reduce him she's coming home soon. So now kidnapper. This one was sentenced for culpable homicide. Alhaji Abubakar Tanko, age 61, sentenced in 2018 to 30 years imprisonment. They reduce him to 20 years. He collects reduction. A lot of people, damn, like advanced free fraud, sentenced in 2019 to 20 years imprisonment, age 40. From 20 years they bring and come 9 years. It depends on your plug and your marketer and your, this is very, like this list itself, man, is very provocative. It's very, very, very provocative. It shows that there's no respect for rule of law. There's no respect for our heroes, that we always pray in the national anthem that their efforts should not be in vain. I pity the NDLE officers, the soldiers, the policemen, the ICPC, EFCC officers that went the whole 9 years, to arrest all these people and make sure they get conviction. Like imagine say you suffer to get cocaine dealer in prison. Excuse me, and the cocaine dealer is out now. John Ibiam, 39 years old, was sentenced in 2016 to 15 years for manslaughter, served 9 years and 1 month in Afikpo Custodial Center. The sentence was reduced to 10 years after individual showed remorse, and acquired vocational skill. Imagine. That to just dey show remorse now. If you like keep person, just go prison, go show remorse. Do cocaine, go show remorse. Do this, go show remorse. Remorse my black behind. This list dey pay me because NSAS detainees are in prison. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and many other Biafra activists are in prison. Boko Haram is getting pardoned. Kidnappers are getting pardoned. Human traffickers are getting pardoned. Cocaine traffickers are getting pardoned. But activists, advocates, protesters are not getting pardoned. This is so sad. The list goes on and on and on and on. Somebody hijacked a fishing vessel, and was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. He has been pardoned. His name is Shobajo Said. Hijacking fishing vessel. Another one, Adamole Philip, 52 years, hijacking fishing vessel. Sentenced to 12 years, reduced to 7 years. All the hijackers got their what's it called? Sentenced reduced. The hijackers on this list: Ahmed Toyin, another hijacker, committed fine wave. They waived the fine, 1 million naira fine where they put for all the hijackers sentencing. They waive am and they reduce their sentence. Oh my God. Death row inmates that killed people, like Emmanuel Baba, culpable homicide. Emmanuel Gladstone, you are not a Gladstone, you are a sad mountain. Sentenced to death in 2012. He has spent 13 years. They commute am to life. You go dey chop our money and tax money forever. You go dey flex. You go dey chill. Maybe by next, if another APC president enter, they go pardon her. You go come house. But now he's going to chop life off our own money, and he go dey sell garri and fish for prison. They make millions. They chop our taxpayers' money, and na person wey kpai person. A lot of people, man. It's so sad. This was written by Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president. Information, both sad information like this and strategy. It's so sad, and ends the outrage of Nigerian citizens about this ridiculous list, about this provocative list. The pardon to criminals is uncalled for when activists are in prison, when harmless people that didn't carry guns, people that didn't rob people, they are still in prison. People that didn't shoot people are still in prison. People that didn't do any sort of things are still in prison. While all these guys are pardoned, sent home for free, and even a lawmaker is standing for the minors, illegal minors. Imagine a kidnapper being integrated back to the society. This reminds us of President Buhari's pardon to Boko Haram, which has continued. The amnesty program for Boko Haram has continued under President Tinubu, and we hope that he will extend this benevolence, this unbridled clemency to Rashid Wasiu, who deserves it. A 19-year-old boy, now 24, arrested over NSAS. Darren Williams and the rest. Maybe he would extend it to Biafran agitators that are in DSS prison for for more than 5 years. Maybe they will also come home and reunite with their family. Some have lost their children, their babies, their wives, so that there can be peace in the southeast rather than criminals and clowns and drug dealers and shooters and murderers. I'm so sad, man. But I had to break it down to people to see how you know the effrontery, the level of executive arrogance President Tinubu just meted out in the name of pardon to 175 convicts. So sad, so sad. But that's just it. It's true. It's true that kidnappers were released, were pardoned. It's true that fraudsters were pardoned. It's true that murderers were pardoned. It is true that illegal miners and all sorts of people were pardoned. Cocaine traffickers were like, they took over 29, they took over 20 something percent. Drug dealers took over 29.2%, unlawful miners 24%, homicide, that's murderers 13.5% of 175 people. So do your calculation. Fraudsters 12%. You see the top four: drug dealers, unlawful miners, murderers, and fraudsters. Then the fifth one is hijackers. We carry big car, go hijack ship, hijack vessel. Then people we carry pistols, guns, we go rob. All those one take 2.3% each. Firearms possession, robbery and theft 2.3% each. Kidnappers 1.8% of 175. Human traffickers and others 5.8%. This is so sad. This is so sad, Nigerians. We hope they free the NSAS detainees. We hope they free Biafran agitators. We hope Mazi can come home and we can have some peace in the southeast rather than these criminals. Thank you so much. Subscribe to Boss Capital TV on YouTube and like the page Boss Capital on Facebook. Follow us. We'll be bringing this meticulous breakdown of presidential decisions, of national politics, entertainment, sports, if you like boxing, you like football, viral topics or topics about injustice, about illegal demolitions, things that you don't see on other channels, on other big platforms. We bring it to you, we'll break it down to you so that you don't have to do all the job of breaking it down for yourself. And some stories deserve to be heard and some details are meant to be analyzed like this. It's so sad, such a sad day in Nigeria. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel, follow the Facebook page. Boom, ria, ria, ria. I want pardon. Pardon, remorseful.